Good afternoon, everybody. It is November 2023, Thursday. It is 3:25 in the afternoon. Okay, so what I've got for you for this video is part 5 of chapter 1, How to Heal Yourself from Depression When No One Else Can. Why we really feel like shit. If your subconscious mind doesn't need your permission or input to drive behavior, and it's relying on your pre-7-year-old self's historical data as a basis for that behavior, then we are all basically kids running around trying to act like highly functioning adults. I have to say, I was a pretty mature child, but I'd never willingly allow my 7-year-old self to take the steering wheel of my life. Yet that's exactly what's going on before I discovered who the real boss of me was. That's probably what's happening to you too. If you have been sad or hopeless because you just can't get over whatever it is that's been going on with you, stop right now. If you've been trying to force yourself into happiness with a boot camp-like regime of positive thinking or whatever else, just pause. If you've been trying to feel good but have not worked in alliance with your subconscious mind to make that happen, forgive yourself right now. Take a deep breath and listen to me. When old programming runs your life, you've essentially been fighting an impossible battle. You've essentially been trying to live for and in the now while playing old tapes from your past. The subconscious mind is an agent of protection. It guards that data from our past and will do anything based on that information from our inner 7-year-old to drive us toward what it believes is good for us according to its rules or programming. Because of how awesomely powerful the subconscious mind is, you must work with it in order to move forward. Understanding how depression is linked to the subconscious mind, you can see why using the conscious mind alone to get happy has never worked very well, right? Any unhealthy and outdated programming from your childhood that you are now living your life by can contribute to depression. This is true even if you had a happy childhood. Simply put, if you are believing, reliving, interpreting, behaving, carrying, or burying anything in your past and it no longer serves you, you are likely disconnected from your natural, joyous self. In fact, trying to force feeling good without updating our programming can unintentionally work against us, creating a sabotage effect and further depression. But you may not need me to tell you this. You may already know from experience. How many times have you insisted you'll do X, Y, or Z, and then were not able to do it, perpetuating the cycle? You'll be learning how to change this in very effective ways throughout the book. But first, let's look at one of the most important components of depression there is. Okay, this section's called What Gets You Stuck? The Freak Out Response. When we are burdened by the emotional baggage, aka the stress of our lives, and are without the tools to unbury ourselves, we are essentially stuck in a prolonged stress response. Hans Selye, a Hungarian doctor, was the first to put explanation to the psychological changes the body experiences when humans are stressed. You might have heard this called fight, flight, or freeze response, but I have lovingly coined it the freak out response. This happens when the amygdala in the brain responds to danger before the conscious mind registers a threat. This engages other parts of the brain and the nervous system to adapt to that stress. A surge of chemicals accompanies the freak out response to help get us through the stressful time. This is all a very primitive process you have no control over. Let's go over what's going on in the system when this happens so you can get a better idea of how stress affects us and why it matters. Just don't let this cause you anxiety because we are going to deal with it all together. Blood is directed away from the gastrointestinal tract, spleen, and other organs that are not absolutely needed to keep you alive this minute. The body produces additional glucose. Adrenal glands increase the production of cortisol and adrenaline, which over time can affect health. The immune system becomes inhibited. Areas of the brain related to memory and reasoning are affected, precisely why it's so hard to think your way out of stress. Heart rate and blood pressure increase. An inflammatory process gets triggered in the body as a defense protective mechanism for danger such as infectious. There is growing evidence that chronic inflammation can exacerbate or even give rise to depressive symptoms. While your physical being drives a part of the response, it is also governed by a major part of the energy system called the triple warmer meridian, an energy pathway in the body. You can think of the triple warmer meridian as an inner protective papa bear. The triple warmer is intertwined with the nervous system, immune system, conscious mind, subconscious mind, and so much more. During the freak out response, energetically speaking, the triple warmer meridian, your papa bear, is on high alert, trying to fight off or keep you safe from harm. Stress in itself is not dangerous, which you'll learn more about later, but humans have a tendency to hold the stress in our bodies and push ourselves forward instead of dealing with it effectively. In other words, once the threat passes, the brain should direct the freak out response to shut off. Stop freaking out, so the body can move into a state of recovery. However, in our modern world where there's little time to process experiences, emotions, or anything else, this important recovery phase gets skipped. During the freak out response, your body can't handle anything but this one thing. So other non-vital biological activities are put on the back burner. This response to danger originally evolved to help our ancestors survive when they were met with threats to their physical safety, and it made great sense in those situations. The trouble is that the body and mind cannot differentiate between an actual threat to our physical safety and stress in the form of emotional baggage, including the behaviors driven by stuff from our past. In fact, as worry-prone humans, we are often concerned about the wrong kind of stress, like how much we have to do. Think chores, tasks, and our endless to-do lists, versus what we are carrying inside of us as emotional burdens. We often ignore the latter, which is precisely the kind of stress that affects our mental and physical well-being the most. When the freak out dynamic is at play, your body and brain are working hard to keep you alive and safe, and as such, Your programming tells you that your biological functions aren't important and also that this is no time for change, even if it's positive. This results in getting you stuck in your current state. Our innate fight, flight, or freeze programming tells us we must concentrate only on survival, which means doing the bare minimum to get by. This translates to avoiding new regimes, behaviors, or regimens, behaviors, and so on, meaning we get blocked from doing the very things that would help us to feel better. This is why it is so darn hard to help yourself when you're depressed. It's not for lack of will or desire, it's because of your survival mechanism. This entire process is exactly why it's not that difficult to find yourself feeling suddenly crappy. And then, once in that state, not so easy to just get out of it. And as I'm sure will be no surprise to you, this process can only lead to physical symptoms because your body simply can't function well enough in this freak out state in order to keep all systems working as they should be. When we're in stress mode, the body is essentially saying, nothing matters but survival. The freak out response, in an effort to protect us, often ends up keeping us not only from the help we need, but from being in touch with what matters to us at a deeper level, such as connections to family and friends, activities we enjoy, and more, which keep us fulfilled spiritually and energetically. Being in freak out mode is a bad habit in the mind body that both gets us stuck and keeps us stuck. You can think of it as a kind of subconscious self-sabotage. The important thing to know is that you are reprogrammable. In fact, even just doing this work is going to help toward putting you into relaxation mode. If you're anything like I once was, the worst part of feeling bad is how out of control you feel with how you feel. This is a common complaint I hear from my clients too. But this very feeling is part of what often inspires us to participate more fully in our own healing and what instigates some of the actual healing. By using techniques for yourself, on yourself, you are immediately changing some of what creates the fight, flight, or freeze dynamic, feeling out of control, afraid, and freaked out. If you are focused solely on a chemical imbalance, bad genes, and so on, you are triggering your own body into being and staying stuck. If you are working from the standpoint of reconnecting with yourself via self-healing, you are reversing it. Self-healing is not about having to take it all on yourself. It's about participating in your own healing in a way that sends this strong message to your mind body. I am okay. I am safe. Okay, so that is all I've got for you for this video. If you like this content, like this video, or comment below. I would love to know your thoughts on this or anything that you would like to add. Now, don't forget to go out there and rainbow it. Flood the world with love, peace, joy, and charity. Thank you, and have a good day.